Right then, loads of you have been getting in touch with me and asking about moving abroad, whether it be the Canary Islands or Spain, but I haven't got a clue. So I've come down to see Lydia, and she is the expert.
You're too kind.
Lydia owns Lanzarote Living Consultancy, and if you need help and advice and you're moving abroad, and especially all that bureaucracy and paperwork, well, Lydia's the one for you. Now, this video is going to be sort of positive and negative at the same time. You know me, I'm always honest with you. I never blag and I never give you this false hope and false dreams. So for those of you sitting at home wondering if it's possible to move to Spain, well, we're not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to tell you the exact way you can do it, how you can do it, and we're not going to give you sort of false hope. So after this video, you'll know if this is something you can do or whether you're just dreaming. But anyway, let's go. Right, and Lydia, thank you so much for letting me come down and speak to you today, because all of these well, they've got so many questions. Now, a few of them I've written down here, so if I do keep referring to my notes, it's because of the people that have asked me certain things. But tell me a little bit about the business and how you ended up here.
Okay, well, I've lived here, my name's Lydia, I've lived here in Lanzarote 42 years. I am 42 years old, yes, you guessed.
So you were born here?
I was one when I moved over,
okay.
Yeah. So the reason I set up the business is because I was finding more and more foreigners actually moving to the island, Lanzarote in particular, with misinformed and misguided, and unfortunately they weren't very accurate on the information they had. So my aim was actually to actually try and capture those people before they moved to the island, or to any of the Canary Islands in particular, in order to give them the information that they needed to actually move here, so that we can avoid any delays and any issues later on.
So you have got a wealth of sort of knowledge and experience and lived here for so long, and your mom is actually the British consulate, no? Part of the British consulate.
Yeah, absolutely. I was privileged enough to go with her to the Buckingham Palace and receive her MBE as well.
She's got an MBE?
Yeah.
There you go. And she actually was the person that organised me and
wedding.
Mrs. TravelON's wedding many, many moons ago. She had everything planned. But I've actually seen you in action because we had to get the new what's called TIA card. For this is nothing to do with moving abroad, but it probably will be if you ever do.
It's one of the documents
it will
you
be.
need, yeah.
It will be. But here, after Brexit, and we're going to talk about Brexit, we had to change all our documentation. Now, Mr. TravelON's not scared of giving it a go himself. He doesn't speak perfect Spanish, but I like a challenge. So I went up there, and we were waiting in the queue, and I've seen Lydia in action. And what I find with the Spanish here, and this was at the sort of police station, is they're very abrupt, aren't they? They're not polite, especially if you don't speak Spanish.
I think what happens is when you're a resident, I think you've got to change your mentality a little bit. And I get a lot of foreigners that go into official offices like a police station and they'll say, do you speak English? That automatically gets people's backs up. What you have to change is sorry, my Spanish is not very good. I'm living here and I'm learning, and then trying. Obviously, I know you speak really good Spanish anyway.
Really good. I'm terrible.
Okay. Pretty good.
The
Spanish.
thing is with me, I don't care if I get it wrong, and that's the difference.
And that's the difference, and that's I think that's really important.
And I'll always give it a go.
Absolutely.
But while the nice gentleman on the desk was very much, do you have an appointment? This one walked in, just like that. Oh, Lydia, hello. And that's it. So
that's because my paperwork is always correct and I'm always on time.
This is it. And paperwork-wise, I mean, for those that live here in Spain that watch your channel, you'll know it's a logistical nightmare. So it is worth getting someone like Lydia involved, because I'll tell you what, we were there for quite a while. She just strolled in with 2 clients. They were best mates, you know. Best mates with everybody in the office. But that's what it's all about. I bet realistically, they're actually quite grateful that you offer this service, because it just cuts the time.
Well, they are, because they don't have to deal with people that don't speak the language, and it's not just the language barrier as well. It's also knowing the paperwork that you need. I mean, we get a lot of questions of, oh, my friend did this, and I obviously need this as well. And it's like, no, your circumstances change a lot depending on what country you come from, if you're living, if you're working, if you've got children. Millions of different circumstances. So obviously, we know depending on these circumstances what documents we need. so we can speed up the process. And yeah, they are grateful
because
for
it
that.
is a logistical nightmare.
It is, yeah.
But I like
It
a
is.
challenge. But so let's talk about the biggest question I get asked, and this is the difference between, well, a lot of people say to me, how did you move abroad? Well, I sort of didn't. I was working for the tour operators. I was working for the tour operators with Mrs. TravelON, and we just sort of plunked ourselves here, and Brexit didn't exist, and it was just a case of getting some paperwork and stuff like that, and then over the years we're there. We've obviously had to make a few changes now with driving licences and these TIA cards. But what has changed since Brexit for the Brits? Now, I know we've got Irish people watching as well, so we'll talk about that as well. But what has changed since Brexit? Because it's very different now, isn't it?
It's hugely different. Just to give an example, which is something I do in the office quite a lot, is when a European citizen comes in, which was obviously Brexit before, British before Brexit, you can arrive literally in the country and say, "Hi Lydia, I've just moved over and I want to complete my paperwork and we can get it sorted for you." So for European, it's pretty much a little bit about notice. Okay, this is when we're planning to move, this is when we've bought a house or we're renting, a little bit of information so that we can actually prepare everything for when you arrive, we can move forward. As a non-EU citizen, British since Brexit, unfortunately that doesn't happen anymore. And what happens is we try to prevent people from making that mistake, which is still common, unfortunately. A lot of people move to the islands unaware of the inconvenience and the issues that Brexit has caused. And what happens is when they arrive, suddenly they realise that they have to go back to their country to complete processes such as visas, for example. So they can no longer move here.
But how does that differ between people in Ireland? Irish is part of the EU, so can they just move here?
Yeah. A European can literally turn up and say, Lydia, I've just bought a house in Lanzarote and I'm planning to move here. Or plan a little bit ahead. Look, I'm coming to move over in a couple of months. This is what I've got. I've got children, I've got pets, I'm buying a house, I'm bringing a car, etc., etc. We can plan ahead. As a non-EU citizen, you have to start the process in the UK with a visa. Okay,
so what is the process? Because there's a lot of questions out there. People are saying, you know, how much money do I need in the bank? What do I need this? Do I need that? Do I need this? And this is why I'm here. So there are stipulations, aren't there?
And a lot of different circumstances as well. For example, with regards to visas, you've got a student visa, for example, which means you can come to Spain and study something in particular for a limited time, and then you have to leave the country unless you're going to go and study something else. For example, the easiest route of visa to obtain is for pensioners, or it's aimed at pensioners, but I have couples in their 30s, 40s, 50s that go through the process of the non-lucrative visa.
A non-lucrative visa?
Yeah, the non-lucrative visa is, as I said, it's designed for pensioners, and the reason it's designed for pensioners is because you're not allowed to work in your home country, so you would not allowed to be working in the UK. You will not have work permit in Spain. And you have to have either private pensions, state pensions, or savings. So you're looking at €27,000 a year for one person, and then for every family member, so your spouse or your children, you're looking at approximately €7,000 extra per year. So that's per year, correct.
But if you're not working now, you're going to get 27,000.
Well, that's why it's aimed at pensioners. So you have the savings, or you have your pensions coming in.
State pension that
Or private pensions, for example, police forces, etc. They retire, I think it's at the age of 55. So obviously they have private pensions coming in, so that can go into account as well. Or simply you've got money in the bank, you've got a chunk of money you've inherited or you've saved or whatever. You can use that as well. It doesn't have to be pensions. Pensions or savings.
Okay, so if it was a saving, for example, and it's 27,000 a year, once that saving, is it sort of saying, well, it's 27,000 a year, you've got 5 years worth of money there, you can only be here 5 years?
No, so the non-lucrative visa is actually a 5-year process. It's, let's go on the basis of a couple, a married couple. So you're looking at about €34,000 for the first year. Then you would renew your visa for 2 years. So because it's a 2-year visa, the amount is double. So you're looking at approximately €70,000 in savings, unless you do have pensions. And then you would renew it again for a further 2 years for, again, the same similar amount in the bank, all your pensions. And then after that, you would actually have a 5-year residency with your work permit as well. But yeah, it's a 5-year process for the visa.
Okay, so then after that 5 years, you're okay?
Yeah, after that 5 years, you're okay, yeah.
Oh. God, you need a bit of cash then, don't you, to do that?
It's aimed at pensions, as I said.
And this is all coming after Brexit?
Or after
because
Brexit.
Before Brexit, you could have just
Before Brexit, you could have a job in Spain. Automatically, as you're a European, you have a work permit.
Yeah.
Whereas a non-European, you have to apply for a work permit.
Oh, okay.
And that's why the reason the NLV, the non-lucrative visa, is the easiest one to obtain, because you're not requesting a work permit.
But you're not allowed to be working here, and you're not allowed to have a job in the UK either. Wow.
Correct.
What if you've got a business in the UK? Are you, like, if you've got, let's say you're the director of a business in the UK and it's doing well, can you sort of just leave your business in the UK, come here on a non-lucrative visa for 5 years, and the income is coming from that business?
Well, it depends on the circumstances, to be honest with you, because you're not allowed to have any income from the UK. So if it's seen that you're working because you're still taking a share of dividends from the company, then technically you're not supposed to.
Wow. Wow. So there's a lot of rules, isn't there?
A lot. And it's made it very difficult. It's still not impossible. And we do say to a lot of people still, you know, don't lose the faith. It still is an option. Yeah. But obviously it's an option for specific level of people or specific people that are coming for specific reasons.
But I mean, that's one of the reasons that I wanted to make the video, because I know a lot of people are sat in the UK, Ireland, or wherever they are in the world, and they're like, oh, you know, I just want to get away from it all, and it used to be easy, but it's not as easy now. And they always look at me doing these videos and think my life is perfect, but it's not. It's just the same level of shit, but with the sun, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, you're here working all day long,
absolutely.
And you know, we've still got bills, mortgages, taxes, and.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Lanzarote, I always say one of my logos is, you know, Lanzarote is what you make of it at the end of the day. You know, we get a lot of people that move over and spend a lot of time in the pub. You know, I'm sure they probably did that in their home country wherever they came from. You know, then your level of life is not going to improve that much. You know, we get a huge amount of people that move over and they want quality of life because they want to spend more time outdoors, which you understand, you know, when you see the UK, Ireland, other countries, obviously very cold winters and so on. But yeah, absolutely, we work, we pay an awful lot of tax.
Yeah, of course.
We were just talking about.
Loads.
Absolutely. You know, and it's not doable for everybody, because at the end of the day, you know, if you live off rent, for example, to find a long-term rental at the minute is horrendous, absolutely horrendous, and what is available is so expensive. To become self-employed is very expensive. So, you know, it isn't for everybody, but if you're willing to take all of that into account, then it's doable for you.
Okay, so that's a non-lucrative visa. Are there any others? Are there any other ways or loopholes that you can get over it?
Yeah, I mean, for example, if you're willing to invest in business, for example, you've got the golden visa. If you've got 500, for VIPs.
Wow, there you go.
In Spain, it's actually 500,000 euros as an investment. So the property has to be in one person's name only. If it's in two, obviously, because you own 50% of it, it's 250,000.
So that would be a house?
Yeah, for example.
So you could actually buy a 500,000 euro house in your name, and then you're more than welcome.
Yeah, it's a business visa, effectively.
You better get saving them pennies. Wow, okay.
Yeah. You've got digital nomad visa, which was launched last year and actually has become very popular. And it's for people that work remotely in the UK, for example. They can actually move with the same job and same conditions they have in the UK, move to Spain and actually work from here. As long as they can prove that they earn enough salary, which is about 2,000 euros. Plus, if you have family members that come with you as well, you have to obviously add into account their expenses as well.
Wow.
So that's a good option.
And you can do that for a certain amount of time?
No, you can do that forever.
Wow, digital nomad. I like that. Well, I could do that because I work remotely. I mean, I don't need to now, but if I did in the UK,
absolutely,
you could do that. But you have to work. Would you to be a digital nomad? Because I know I'm going to get the question. There's going to be a load of content creators and other YouTubers and things like that.
If you're self-employed and you've got your own business in the UK and you can prove that you've been doing it for, I think it's 1 year, and you earn a minimum salary, which is about 2,000 euros, you can do that as well.
So that would class as a digital nomad?
Yeah. As long as you're self-employed, it's not just you doing it cash in hand.
No.
You've been doing it properly through the books in the UK, and you can transfer that to here. Yeah.
There you go. That could be a way. Get a YouTube channel set up. You could be a digital nomad. So digital nomad could be the one for you. Doesn't that mean isn't like a nomad somebody with no friends? Isn't that the word?
I think no. I don't actually know where it comes from.
What does nomad mean? Because
nomad is like you're like a traveller, aren't you?
Yeah, it used to be like
travelling around,
like on a Harley on your own.
They are.
Isn't it?
I mean, at the minute, obviously since Brexit, there's still a lot of Brits that come here for the 90-day rules, and they come over and work for 90 days. Obviously, they're not supposed to, but they're working for the UK company in Spain, and I suppose the companies don't know or don't care. So as long as they comply with the 90 days and 180 days.
So what's the 90 days then?
Since Brexit, all non-EU citizens have to comply with a 90-day rule. 90-day rule. And that means that you can spend a maximum of 90 days in Europe. Okay. And then you have to be 90 days out of Europe, so going back to the UK, for example, 90 days in Europe, 90 days out. It doesn't mean you have to be here for 3 months solid and then go back for 3 months. You can divide it and whatever. But the best thing to do is download apps called Schengen calculators. And they will actually, you put your arrival date in, your departure date in, and it will tell you how many days left you've got, or it will tell you if you've overstayed. That avoids...
So 90 days, 90 days, 90 days, 90 days. So that's one way, but you can't work, can you?
You can't.
Not legally.
Correct.
Now, before COVID, well, it was a lot easier to work, I think.
Before Brexit, it was so much easier.
Before Brexit and COVID as well, because
there
was a lot of people that were working in bars and restaurants were cash in hand, weren't they? But then COVID came, and obviously all the businesses closed, and then the government were giving sort of grants and things, and I think what it did, it cleared everything out, and everybody had to become legal then, didn't they? Because it was
I think COVID did a lot of damage, but I think in the long run it's actually done people hopefully a lot of favours.
For legal
here's our shout out to legal workers.
Legal workers, because it was like the Wild West before, wasn't it?
It was crazy, and it still happens a lot. But we do say to people, now that businesses are actually struggling for staff, we do say to people all the time, go for job interviews, find out your rights, make sure that you're getting paid correctly, make sure you get paid holiday pay, sick pays, etc. Because there still are so many cowboys out there that are really mistreating staff. Yeah,
there is, but at the same time, it's not easy, is it, having your own business and employing staff?
It's not.
But
it's very, do your business plan.
It's very expensive. This is it. But this brings me on to sort of businesses, because I've been here for many years, and I've seen a lot of people come out and open a business, especially bars and restaurants that they've had no sort of experience in that. But I think
because they think it's an easy life.
Well, this is it. I think what happens is you come on holiday, you get talking to Jeff, who owns a little bar, and Jeff looks like he's got a nice life, but he's there all day, every day. Doesn't show
12,
that bit.
14 hours a day.
Yeah, and then you go home and you're like, oh, do you know what? We could own a bar. Wouldn't it be great? And I've seen so many people come out, and you just look at the fear in their eyes after about 6 months, and they're like, what the hell?
And that's precisely why we offer the consultations, because what we try to avoid is people making the mistake of not only paying in for business, not only moving over. I get customers all the time. I've just packed my bags and I've moved over, and I go, no, you need to go back to where you came from and start again. Or I've just paid a huge chunk of money and I want to go work at the bar. You have to really think of these things.
But it's good that you do that. And like I said before, with all the videos that I do, I'm always honest and upfront, which is why I've come to you, because I could have gone to. There's a lot of people on the island that offer sort of a similar service, and they will tell you anything.
But we're the friendly face.
Well, no, but there's a lot on the island that you would turn up to, and you would say, I am thinking of opening a bar. I am thinking of doing this.
And they'll tell you a brilliant idea.
And they will go, great. Great, because they're going to charge you an absolute packet to get it all set up.
Whereas I go, really? You sure you want to do that?
Yeah. But that's good. That's why I think, again, why because you're not an accountant, or did you set the businesses up? You don't deal with any of that, do you?
We work lots of different firms. We work with lawyers, we work with accountants.
So you're a consultant, and your fee is for consultancy, which is an investment, because it's like buying, it's like buying insurance. Now, if you spoke to somebody that has nothing to gain from selling you an insurance package, they're going to say, well, you actually don't need this. But if you go to somebody that's going to sell the insurance to you and make the money, of course they're going to say, well, you definitely need this big package.
I mean, what we do is we take care of people once they're actually on the island. We deal with a lot of the NLVs, which is the main visa that we work with. Which I said as before, it's aimed at pensioners, pre-pensioners, and we deal with everything. We help them through the process in the UK when they're applying for it, and then we actually finish the process for them here, because they have to register for fingerprints, they have to register for the TIE card, as you said before. We register them for their healthcare, for their doctors, with a car purchase, with their inheritance, with their wills, and all these other things that go on without it. So yeah, we do all the Lanzarote paperwork side of things.
So what would be the steps of people getting in touch with you? Because what I don't want to do is put your email down below, because then you'll get loads of emails. So you've got a website, and they can book a consultancy, and you can do that over Zoom and Skype.
Absolutely,
and things, can't you?
We offer Zoom, phone calls, and in person. Obviously, if you're on the island, you want to come in and meet us in the office, then you're more than welcome to.
And that's it. If you've got questions, I mean, you know, it's just the best way to do it. And then maybe if we do good, we'll do a live. We could do a live Q&A, and you could ask some questions.
Oh
maybe.
My gosh,
we'll
I'm so
see.
worried.
We'll see if she answers all your questions on there. But yeah, book a consultancy. You can do it over Zoom.
30 minutes is €70. You know, I always say to people, it's the cheapest part of your move.
Yeah, of course.
You know, you're going to get the correct information and avoid the whole thing.
You're going to save yourself time.
And
also, if you've got that dream and it's niggling in the back of your head, and you know, you think, oh, I really want to move abroad, I really want to move abroad, I really want to move abroad. If you speak to somebody and you actually, well, it's going to go one of two ways. Lydia's going to either be able to say, well, yes, you can, but you need this, this, and this. Or I'm really sorry, you've not got a chance of doing this.
And unfortunately, we are the bearers of bad news a lot since Brexit, you know. But I always say, I'd rather tell you the honest truth than, you know, you turning up and...
At least you can put that to bed then.
Yeah.
You know, and
exactly, because it's not put to bed forever. It's maybe in the future, you know, if you're married with a European, or you're in a relationship with a European, maybe you get married. You know, it's one of those things that we often say. So you could come
over and meet a Canarian. Now, this is the way to do it. You could come over here, meet a Canarian, and get married.
Convenience marriages are the new thing to do.
Well, there you go.
I'm going to jail for that.
Wow. Yes, you could do that, couldn't you?
No, but I get a lot of people, for example, that have been in relationships for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, or even 40 years, you know, and one's European and one's not. And since Brexit, something we recommend is, for example, get married. Because being a family member of an EU citizen is a huge different, absolutely. So if one of you's got the option of obtaining a European passport, for example, because your parents or whatever were Irish or Italian or Polish, go for it, you know, absolutely. Anything you've got that you can link yourself legally to a European, go for it.
Yeah, perfect. Well, that sort of covers how to do it, if and what you need to do it. But again, we touched on before the fact that there's nowhere to live.
No.
There's nowhere to live, is there?
I've got people leaving the island because they just can't find any long-term accommodation. In
your opinion, having worked in the I've got my opinion, and I know the Canarians have got their opinion. But in your opinion, why is this such a problem? So rents are now like sky high. There's nowhere for workers to live. There are staff shortages. So there's plenty of work out there, but people can't find staff because they can't find anywhere to live. So what, in your opinion, why is that? Why do you think?
There are a lot of holiday rentals, so private properties that used to be long lets and are now holiday rentals. I'm a firm believer of your property, you do what you want with it, but at the same time, I live in Playa Honda, just by the airport.
And Playa Honda is a residential area.
It's a residential area, and there are so many VV properties.
And in Arrecife now as well.
In the grottiest of areas of the back streets in Arrecife, you can actually find a lot of VVs, and I think it's not a good thing for tourism.
And just so these people know what a VV is, that's the certificate to say...
There's a licence for a property to become a tourist licence, which means you can rent it out to tourists. So
do you not think that the town halls and stuff like that should be saying no in certain areas?
I do, but also I think it's also got to do with, for example, we're talking about the digital nomad visa. A lot of people come over from the UK, in this case, with a UK salary, come to Lanzarote, and they're willing to pay through the roof for a long-term rental because their salaries are so much higher than the average in Spain. So that's another inconvenience as well.
Wow.
There's lots of little things that I think have added on. Also during COVID, people were buying properties left, right and centre, as you probably know, through the estate agents, buying through online. And they bought that because obviously with COVID, people didn't want to be in hotels. And so there's been a lot more demand as well for the holiday rentals. So I think it's just a lot of things combined that have unfortunately...
Do you think there's going to be a solution?
I can't see a solution immediately, no. And prices are doing nothing but increasing.
No, I know.
Increasing.
House prices are terrible.
It's crazy.
Through the roof.
Yeah. A 2-bedroom apartment in Puerto del Carmen, €1,000 to €1,500. It used to be 500 to 800 euros.
Yeah, if that, 600, yeah.
I've got people paying 2,500, 3,000 euros for a two-bedroom villa with a pool.
So even if you can get over here, the cost of living here, well, the supermarkets, in my opinion, are sky high. I know a lot of people come on holiday and they say, oh, it's so cheap to eat out and drink out, which is one thing.
Of course. And there are lots of things, for example, like the healthcare in Spain is,
Very
in
good.
Lanzarote in particular, we're talking about here, is very good. It's one of the things that we also recommend people actually pay into the Spanish healthcare system rather than having private insurances, because it's a lot cheaper. Road tax, what do you pay? 80, 100 euros a year on your car tax. Rates and rubbish for a property, let's say a two-bedroom apartment, 500 euros a year, no heating, no gas bills, water and electric. Water can be 20 euros every 2 months. Electric, 100 euros every month.
I don't know, my kids are always on PlayStation. My electric bill.
So, there are lots of things that you have, obviously you live in the life and the sun and the quality of life and all those things, life is not cheap, and if you go by Lanzarote average salary, then of course it's expensive.
And what is the average salary here?
The average salary is probably for a waiter, for example, full-time waiter, full-time chef, maybe 1,700, 1,800 gross.
It's not a lot, is it?
It's not a lot, no. You're looking at, taking home about 1,400, 1,500 euros.
But salaries here and pay packets here is a little bit different to the UK, isn't it? Because if you receive your salary in the UK, then you've got your deductions of what you've left. Here it's a little bit different, isn't it? If your salary is 1,800 a month, you receive 1,800 a month.
No, automatically it's deducted from your payslip. So on your payslip it will say your gross amount is, let's say, 1,800 euros, and they'll take off 300-400 euros, which goes to the Spanish government for various
things. I thought it was the other way around. I thought the employer paid that part of it. Because when I worked,
some businesses are cheeky and they do that.
Well, I don't know. When I worked, it was your salary is this much. And that's always what I took home, but then they would pay the social security side of it.
Because the social security is paid by two parts. One is the employer, which pays about 33% of your gross salary, and then there's a part on your payslip that you're paying into the social security and your unemployment benefits and all those other little bits that are added onto your payslip.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of these things. I want you to do a video about these things one day.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do that. I reckon we're going to do a few videos. I reckon we're going to go live once a week and answer everybody's questions. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So housing is difficult to get. Jobs are not so difficult to get. However, you need the work permit, so you can't do it. But now, I remember back in the day when it was fun. And do you remember back in the day? I think you came on one of my boat parties many years ago.
Yes, I did.
See, that's when the world was so much better.
Don't tell people about that.
That was when it was so much. Do you know, I used to put a boat. I used to say, right, we're doing a boat party on a Wednesday, and it'd be rammed because there was a lot of young people, wasn't there? And we were young. Yeah, not so much now. I couldn't do a boat party.
We didn't have kids.
No, exactly. But we were young, and there was such a nice atmosphere of young people sort of doing the summer sort of, come out for the summer, they're working in a bar. Some of it might have been legal or not illegal, but they'd come out, have a few drinks, they'd serve that. That's gone. That has gone now. So what about
it has a lot.
Summer work? The only people that can do that are EU citizens then, can't they?
Correct.
So realistically, I mean, if there is a shortage of...
The thing is, an EU citizen has automatically got a work permit. So a European can legally actually arrive with their European passport, and go and work immediately. The difference is a lot of businesses, unaware of the legalities, actually tell the Europeans that no, they need to have an NIE number, which is incorrect. But we battle with this every day, so we just end up saying, fine, you want an NIE number.
Just go and get one.
It's 90 euros, we'll go and obtain it for you, no problem, solved. But they can legally work with a European passport.
Wow, there you go. So, the big thing is for the staff problem is all you young ones that are out there, especially if you're watching on TikTok, which maybe you are, maybe you're not, come and do a summer job if you're from Ireland or anywhere else in
Holland,
the EU.
Italy, Portugal, you name it, absolutely.
Come and get a summer job.
As long as you speak English and some level of Spanish, absolutely.
That's it. Wow, there you go. Okay, the final thing that I always get asked is schools. Now, you've got kids, yeah? I've got kids, but my kids and your kids obviously go to a Spanish school, and do yours go to the Spanish school? There you go. Straight in there, no problem.
Absolutely.
Now, there's a lot of parents out there that if you've got the opportunity to move abroad, you've got covered all the bases that we've covered, and you've got kids. What's your opinion on bringing kids over from the UK? Do you, in your opinion, it's not, it's only your opinion, is it better for them to go into a private British school? Would you say to dump them straight into the Spanish system? And at what age?
Sure, it depends on. I always we get this a lot because we do register an awful lot of kids in the schools.
Yeah.
And one of the first things I say
you
to
do
parents,
all that as well?
Yeah.
I tell you what, she does everything.
It's all on the website anyway. The whole list of, well, not most of the stuff's on the website. We normally say put it back on the parents, and it's your child. There's children that are insecure, children that are very shy, children that have special needs. Yeah. So, every child is different. But what we do say under normal circumstances is, if they're under the age of 9, 10, put them in the Spanish state school. Yeah. They're going to learn the language, they're going to feel confident.
And they pick it up quick, don't
they? Honestly. Within a weeks, you'll be going, oh my gosh, they understand things and they're learning. And
introverted.
If your children are very shy or introvert, for example, maybe they need to go to a private British school, for example.
And there are British schools here,
aren't there are 4 of them that do the English as a second language or even first language. So, it does depend on the child. But yeah, absolutely, I vouch for the Spanish system. I know it's probably not to the same level as the private schools, obviously. Yeah. But, at the end of the day, you came here and you wanted to give your children education, and having 2 languages is a huge...
Did you go to the Spanish school?
Yeah. I don't think there was any British schools here back then.
Right. Oh, yeah, you will. Well, there you go. Well, what I find with the Spanish schools, I mean, Jack's doing very well. But that's because he he's happy to study. Alfie's still in sort of younger schools, so he hasn't gone to secondary school yet. But I find that with the Spanish schools, if you're willing to learn, they'll teach you. But if you're naughty, they brush you to the side. They might try and sort of bring you on, but from what I've looked at and observed from the outside, there are good kids and naughty kids, and the naughty kids tend to be...
I think it depends on the school as well, and also on the teacher. My daughter's only just turned 6, and I'm very lucky that she is the good girl. I'm very lucky so far. But yeah, it does depend on the kid, and it depends on the teacher, and it depends on the schools. I've heard terrible reviews of the school where my daughter goes to, and I've heard amazing reviews, and my personal experience is amazing. She's got teachers that really care. They've got great systems. They're always updating, refreshing, and they go to all sorts of travels all around Europe, trying to update and refresh and bring back new ideas. And I think it's great.
I think the education side is that, but there's also...
It wasn't that good 40 years ago when I was at school.
Oh, there you go. You've done all right. Look, you've done all right. But what also here, they do repeating, don't they?
Yeah.
So there's kids in Jack's school.
They don't do that in the UK.
No, they don't do that in the UK.
I didn't know that.
So here, if you do 1 year and you don't
reach the level,
you go again. So there's kids in Jack's school, Jack's 16, there are kids in Jack's classes that are like 18 years old, and even sort of down the road you could repeat the year twice. So you I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it's the right way because...
I did 1 year.
Did you? Well, Jack's done 1 year.
Yeah. I did 1 year. I was having too much fun with my friends.
No, but Jack did 1 year in the last year of his primary school before he went to big school. And do you know what? I think it did a real good thing in that respect, I think. But also it breaks you away from your friends, which is something they try and do. Because normally when you repeat a year, it's not because you're academically below the average. It's because, sometimes you're spending too much time with your friends and distracted. Maybe you've changed my mind. Maybe in the primary school. I just think in the secondary school, when you're sort of 18 and you've still got 2 years at school left, or 18, come on. He's repeated twice. He's not academic. Not everybody's academic.
No, absolutely not.
So just let him finish school and let him go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe I have to try a bit harder.
There you go. But you've done all right out the old Spanish education. Look, I mean, this office is fantastic. So look, I am going to put all the information below. Well, I'm going to put the website for Lydia. So you can go on there. You can book a consultation if you're serious about moving abroad or you've got questions. And she'll tell you the truth, and that's what it's all about. It's all about... Just
do it once and do it properly. That's one of our lemmas.
Yeah, I like it.
There's no point, coming over and doing half a job or suddenly turning up and realising that you need to go back to the UK to apply for things, or you need to go to Ireland and you didn't bring this paperwork with you,
Yeah, of course.
Just consult us before you move over. We'll give you the list of documents that you need. You come over, we're prepared. We'll book the appointments that you need, and then we'll go from there. Do it once,
Brilliant.
Do it properly.
And if you can't do it, you'll have somebody else that can.
Yeah, we've got a huge chain of network of all sorts of stuff.
So there you go. That hopefully has answered enough questions for you. And if you need any more, get in touch with Lydia. And by all means, you can message me and ask me, but I ain't going to know. What I'm going to do from now on, when I get questions about moving abroad, I'm just going to send them straight over to Lydia. I'm going to send the website and say, just book a consultancy with Lydia, because I have no clue.
It changes a lot as well. There's things that, you know, people ask us and I tell them one thing, and then the year after they check up again. Oh, actually, I'm going to make that move that I told you about last year. And I go, things have changed now.
Things
you know,
have
you
changed,
need to,
yeah.
You
so
know,
there you go. Things are constantly changing.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So there you go. That's what I promised you, and that's what I delivered. Well, Lydia delivered. What an absolute legend. She knows everything. So there you go. Lydia, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For taking your time out to speak to me and speak to these lot. What can
See
I
you
say?
all very soon in Lanzarote, legally working and legally registered.
Get on it. Right, from me, Mr. TravelON, I'll see you in the next video. Lydia's got to get back to work because she's got a queue of people waiting to come in. Right, I shall see you later. Thank you so much.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.